Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Generation Y with myself, Imam Khalil. I think it's been a long time. I think this is the longest break we've had in Generation Y. So that's why we're going to make sure that there's never such a big gap in Generation Y. So pardon the really the lame pun of starting of Generation Y. But with me, alhamdulillah, I've got Maulana Rayan, as always, alhamdulillah, who really does assist me and help me and gives me the extra energy and the boost, alhamdulillah. So I do, once again, as always, thank Maulana Sahab for actually staying, despite all his busy day he has at IQRA TV for his programs, IQRA with IQRA. But I've grabbed Maulana along as always. So Maulana, first of all, big jazakallah khair to you for giving me your support. Because I think you've been here, I have a choice, either an empty chair or Imam Qasim.
Yes.
None of those two, thank you. Right, but I'll have you here, so that just gives me a lot more energy. But it was nice to see Imam Qasim a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I thought he was sick.
He is sick, though he doesn't look sick.
Yeah,
but he is sick.
He didn't act sick, but he showed his strength and energy. I don't know where he gets it from. But it was nice to see. It's the first time I've actually met him after his when he fell ill. So it was nice to see Imam Qasim, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Maulana, today we've got this Friday, it's the 14th of February.
Right.
So people say, will you be my Valentine? Or they do all that funny stuff. Whether buy a rose from a rose shop or from the florist. I always tell people generally, Maulana, there's nothing wrong with buying your wife a bunch of flowers or a bouquet of flowers, but don't buy it on Valentine's and don't buy it from a florist. You know why, Maulana? There's a cost of bomb and the flowers, they shrink quite quickly. You might as well get it for a petrol pump. This is a little tip, right? A petrol pump or a supermarket. They're a lot more better, cheaper as well, and they usually last you. But we do want to talk about Valentine's today, because I don't know what you think. A few years ago, it wasn't so big. It was big, but it was never so big. But it's like in the last few years, it's really picked up, and people are talking about Valentine's and almost celebrating this day, which has got nothing to do with Islam and with the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the boys expect it, the girls expect it, gifts exchange, and the messages are given, and people spend a bomb on this day, and they don't realize that people take it very, very light-heartedly. They think, well, it's only a rose and there's nothing wrong with it, and today's 2014, and times have changed in the times of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But I think this is where people are making a really, really big mistake, and they need to understand that Islam's teachings are very, very important, and this is not something we need to get into. That's one thing, Maulana. Second thing, alhamdulillah, since the last time we had Generation Y, we've had lots and lots of emails coming in from youngsters, which is fantastic, from the youth, mainly from the youth, a few from the parents as well. And some of the parents' concern is usually about our children, they don't pray namaz, which is a concern, obviously. So I've got a dua today, inshallah, later on, maybe after 9:30, a dua for the parents, inshallah ta'ala, that if you want your kiddies to pray namaz, what do you do then, inshallah, after 9:30? Inshallah, bi-idhnillah, if you read this dua, I'm hoping and confident, inshallah, that your children will start praying their namaz, inshallah ta'ala. But today we're mostly focusing on Valentine's. And I want you to be absolutely honest with me. If there's any youngsters out there, boys or girls, watching this program, and you've already planned something for this Friday, right? And you think, you're going to give gifts, or you're going to celebrate Valentine's. I want you to come on this program and then maybe explain to us that why you think you should celebrate Valentine's. Then we can give you our reasons that why you shouldn't celebrate Valentine's. And the other thing is, Maulana, it's not just the younger generation anymore. It's those who are married, who are married in their 30s or in the 40s, or maybe in the 50s, giving a rose to their wife. Talking about, do you give flowers to your wife? Just general, and it's personal.
Not on Valentine's Day?
No, just general.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Generally, yes, I would. And I think it's a nice thing to do. It's a nice, definitely a nice gesture for 100%, but not specifically on Valentine's Day. That's something that we should totally avoid. And a smile as when you walk in the house to the family, wife, parents, is sadaqah. So yes, giving flowers here and there, I don't think there's any harm in it. I mean, there's no harm in it at all. But we should not particularize the day.
Absolutely. And you're not referring to chapati flower? No, you're talking about proper flour, yeah?
I'm talking about proper flour.
There was this joke once going around about chapati flour. I don't know what I don't know, it was on WhatsApp, whatnot. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And we do want people to phone in, inshallah ta'ala. And the other thing we're talking about, because Valentine's is mainly the youth and the younger people who do it, and people have got this problem, people have girlfriends and boyfriends, and it's a very big illness. And we can't really hide this point that it doesn't exist. It exists big time in our society, big time in our community. My advice is, Maulana, and I think we've discussed this before on Generation Y briefly, is that we are male and female, and we do get attracted to each other. It's part and parcel. This is where Allah Ta'ala has made us. But the thing is, go about it the right way, which is very, very important. And we want you, because then what happens, you fall in love with someone, and then eventually you have to tell your parents about it. And then your parents say, no, you're not going to get married to this girl, or you're not getting married to this boy. Then you're heartbroken, then you do a Bollywood style and say, I'm not going to marry anyone else apart from this guy or from this girl. But that's fantasy. That's not reality. So my advice to people is that when you like somebody, is approach your parents first, because eventually you're going to have to tell your parents about it anyway. This is my point as well. So you can email us on Generation Y at IQRA.tv, Generation Y at IQRA.tv. You can always give us a call, mashallah. I know the last program we had, mashallah, we had absolutely calls flying in from the moment we started. So we're hoping, inshallah, a younger generation will give us a call. Parents, you're more than welcome to give us a call. Any brothers and sisters who have issues regarding the youth, and we're here to try to help you in the best way possible, Maulana.
Absolutely. And I think, Maulana, because this is Generation Y, it's about the next generation, it's about the teenagers, and because the month of February, 14th of February, it's to do with Valentine's Day. Let's have some callers. People may be calling in. If you want to call in and maybe share, let's get to the root of Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
How it started, how it stemmed, what's it all about, and what, it's very, very clear. It's got nothing to do with Dini al-Islam.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the religion of Islam at all. And if you do go about celebrating Valentine's Day, why? Why do you do it? Maybe that's a question we want to put out there to the teenagers. If you do celebrate it, why do you celebrate it? And what do you get out of it?
Yeah, and we won't embarrass you to what you should be ashamed of yourself. Tawbah, do istighfar, and we're not going to embarrass you. We won't even ask your name. But it would be just nice to know, to come as if from the horse's mouth, to know why you're exactly celebrating Valentine's. And what is your reason behind it? Why is it so important to you? Do you feel like it's something you need to do in this time and age? Then inshallah we can help you and we can guide you, inshallah, in what we think what you should do on this day instead, inshallah ta'ala. Like I said, Generation Y at IQRA.tv. Maulana, you probably know the phone number better than I do, or is it on the screen?
The phone number will be on the screen, yes.
Yeah, phone number. So the phone numbers on the screen, and so is the email address on the screen as well, alhamdulillah, which is good news. So we've not had any emails yet, we've not had any callers as yet, but what I can say, Maulana, over the last few weeks we have had plenty of emails, like I was discussing earlier, and the most encouraging thing is people saying that, mashallah, we found one program which is specially and dedicated just for the youth, and which is very encouraging. And it's nice to see youth actually emailing you or texting you or calling you. It's very refreshing.
It is. And because, see, it's all good and well, people praising the fact that a show is now available for the youth. But at the same time, I think it's important, the only way you can show the appreciation is if you participate. If you participate in the show and during the show, if you call in and if you share your thoughts, because it's about trying to make us, the youth, all of us, better, especially the youth. And the topics that we do wish to discuss during Generation Y, I expect a lot of teenagers to call in. And be a part of the show, just like the way you would call in other shows and you would show your interest and your appreciation. It goes to show that the show is doing well and it's going to go very, very far. And we want to make changes. The show is not about just me and Imam Khalil sitting here at the studio and chit-chatting away, talking away, but it's about making a difference. Making a difference. And if there is a kind of a practice out there that we ought not to be doing? How do we stay away from it? So we want your opinions, and we want you to maybe say something that would inspire other teenagers.
Yeah, the other thing about Valentine's, Maulana, it's not something which is just for England. It's absolutely a worldwide thing. You go to India, you go to Pakistan, you go to the Middle East, unfortunately, you go to the Asian subcontinent, wherever you go to. And I think in Europe as well, and I'm sure I got people from Kosovo and Albania watching as well. And I'm not sure how big it is in Kosovo. I know we had Imam Jamal calling us last time from Albania. But I know there's a friend of mine watching from Kosovo. He's actually, I just texted him earlier, are you watching us? Yeah, we are actually watching. So they'll be watching from Kosovo. So if brother from Kosovo, it'd be nice to get information from Kosovo if it's big in Kosovo as well. And do people celebrate Valentine's Day as well? That'd be very interesting to know as well. Well, fantastic. We have a call online. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. Caller dropped, and the heart just dropped. Heartbroken, Maulana.
Well, the caller can always call back, and the number is on the screen. So do use that number, and please do share your thoughts. Let's find out what Valentine's is about, how it started off, where it started off, why it started off, and why has it gone worldwide, and why do we as Muslims get involved in it so much.
You got a call, Maulana? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. How are you doing?
I'm very well, mashallah. And first of all, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Leeds.
Leeds, mashallah. You want to share your name with us as well?
Yeah, my name is Mr. Zafran.
Mr. Zafran. How are you, Mr. Zafran? You okay?
I am, alhamdulillah.
Good, good.
I was just watching the show, and I find it very, very fascinating.
Thank
For
you.
the Ummah,
Jazakallah
the
khair.
brothers and sisters, and you are sending a very, very lovely message out there.
Jazakallah khair. What would you like to talk about, Mr. Zafran? What was your point for today's show? Anything particular you want to talk about?
Basically, it is just to remind ourselves that who we love and who we look, who we are with, and just to show emotion, sometimes, like how you're ups and downs. Just a day for remembrance, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Jazakallah khair, Brother Zafran. Really appreciate your call. May Allah Ta'ala reward you. You've been our first caller for this evening. And I'm sure now that you've called, inshallah, we'll get many more calls coming in, inshallah Ta'ala. Okay. All right. He's gone, alhamdulillah. At least Brother Zafran from Leeds, and he said he finds the program fascinating, which is good.
It's great, but I think it will be more interesting for us. Like I said, it is a program for the youth, and I really and truly want more youths to call in, because sometimes I had a discussion with some teenagers the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and GCSE students, and they basically said to me, "Look, what do you know about us teenagers? What's the point of having a show like this? What do you know?"
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that they're in the teens, and the fact that we've been through the teens, being in this country, in the UK, we went through the school system starting from nursery to reception to the primary to the junior to the secondary, Darul Uloom, university, college, all that stuff. So we are here because we do know exactly what goes on in the teen generation, and the fact that we may not be teens, of course not. I wish I was, but it's it's just not the case. But you will find this show beneficial, and by you calling in and sharing any thoughts or any problems, inshallah, Mawlana Khalil is here, and he will do his utmost best, because he works, and I've seen his work, alhamdulillah, in Albania with the teens, and you've done a fabulous job there. And people who do not know Islam at all, and to make them wear hijab, and to make them hafid al-Quran, and get them closer to the deen, and forget what they are not supposed to be doing. Yeah. You've done a brilliant job, and I think you can do this. I believe you do just as a good job here in the UK for our teens.
Inshallah, I'm hoping. And on that point, you said that, well, what do you know about us, that they said to you? So I tell you what, why don't you tell us what goes on in your life? If
I said exactly that.
Right.
I said, look, this is a moment for you guys to actually call in and tell us what goes on. Let's find out. Let's find out. Okay, we were teens maybe back in the 90s or in the 80s or whatever. That that was another era. But we are in the era of 2000. Late 90s, 2000. Now let's hear what problems you people have, and let's see if it's similar to the problems that was rife in the 80s and the 90s.
They're listening to you because we've got two calls. We'll take the first one first. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your name, please.
My name is Muhammad Maulana. I'm calling from Bali.
Oh, from Bali.
The TV shows look very, very interesting.
Jazakallah.
And I just wanted to know, for Muslim people, the Valentine's Day, is that they have to celebrate this or no? Or is haram? I'm not really sure, because I see many people in college. They are celebrating this. They get flowers and everything. They go out. What does Islam say about this?
Okay. I'll give my side of it, and then inshallah Maulana will give his point. First of all, it's not a Islamic practice at all, Valentine's. It's not. In fact, it's got nothing to do with any religion, be it Christianity, be it Judaism. It's actually a pagan belief, and it started long time ago. And so it's got nothing to do with Islam at all, and in fact, it's got nothing to do with any religion at all. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum." Whoever you imitate, you'll be raised with those people on the day of Qiyamah. So we've got a choice. That in this dunya, you'll find lots of other trends and lots of fashions and lots of ways which are very eye-catching, very attractive, but they're not exactly Islamic. And Valentine's is one of them, where you give a rose, or you give chocolates, or you give sweets, or you give perfume to your beloved one, and you spend lots of money, and you mentioned you're having dawats, and you're going out to the restaurants and takeaway. You have a romantic time. But married or not married, so if you're not married, you're doing zina anyway, right? So that's one guna. And if you're married and you're still celebrating Valentine's, you're imitating which has got nothing to do with Islam. So there is no Islamic, and from my understanding is, it would be a sin, Maulana, on this point.
No, absolutely. I mean, because I think what's important for us to know and remember that the Valentine, it started, like you said, way back, in history, and it started actually from the Romans. They started it off, and the Roman emperor during those times, he was finding it very difficult to get folk to join his military. As a result, he came to the conclusion that, look, maybe because that people are so with the families and the wives and at home too much, that's the reason it's preventing them from joining the military. Sure. So he came out with the fact, we should stop the marriages. No one should be getting married. And it went on, and a priest during that time, he came out, and obviously he disliked the idea and started getting people married privately during the darkness of the night. He got caught, and obviously he was in prison, and he was to be beheaded, and it all started from there.
And he was named Valentine, wasn't it?
His name was Saint Valentine.
Right.
And after he died, after they beheaded him, it all started from there.
So they beheaded him.
Yeah.
And it's headed towards us today.
And it's really a Christian belief.
Okay.
And Saint Valentine is a Christian belief, so it's got really and truly nothing to do with us. And it's because of the fact that he was beheaded, and he's the one who went and fought against the emperor, making sure marriages take place, etc., etc. And that's how it all started off, and it's just gone worldwide now. Yeah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. We got a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. My name is Fawad. I'm calling from London. Quite interesting program. We all know the background of the Valentine. I think you explained as well. And I would add some more thoughts that it's more pagan and more commercial, and it's got nothing to do with any religion at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. But especially in Asian countries, like Islamic countries, why is gas so popular up there? I mean, it's a big thought as well. How come it's just in 2 years' time it spread so quickly? And people are crazy about all these things up there. The reason why is I think we have to blame 75% of media as well. Why can't channels like you, people like you, put some effort and just stop these things, especially in Islamic countries? It's not Islamic channels, so some sort of a campaign that please stop publicizing and stop doing these things on the media. Which actually, because see, media, I mean, it's every single house got a TV, and when you're going to come onto the TV and advertise these kind of programs and showing these kind of things, what kids going to learn up there? They're going to follow those things.
Yeah.
So I think we should. I'm not we all. I mean, channels like you, people like you. I mean, should do some sort of campaign to stop those channels just for the sake of the money. Please stop doing these programs on TV.
Inshallah. We'll do, inshallah. We'll come to your point in a minute, but we've got another call online as well, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Camera. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
You're calling from, sister?
I'm calling from Birmingham.
From Birmingham. Yes, sister, what was your point?
Well, my daughter came home actually the other day, and she's 5 years old. She goes to a state school. She came home and she said, "Mommy, this boy gave me this card, and he said it's for Valentine's Day."
Right, okay.
She's 5 years old. I looked at the card, and it was like a handmade kind of card that he'd made, and I could make out that he'd written her name on it, and it's just I didn't really know how to deal with it, and at the time I ignored her. I just said, "Okay, it's nice," and I put it away. But I feel like I haven't really dealt with it, and I'm struggling to know how to deal with it. I don't want to make a big issue about it.
Sure.
Because obviously she's very young. She doesn't understand male-female interaction, and I don't want to get into all that because she's only 5 years old. So should I just dismiss it, or should I?
And you said she's 5 years old.
Yeah.
5 years old. Mawlana Rayan, how would you deal with that?
Well, I mean, it's look, it's important from this very young age that we educate them, and they are told, because from a young age, a 5-year-old, what does she understand about Valentine's?
Yeah.
So it's our collective responsibility to drum it into them. That look, first of all, we need to understand what Valentine's Day is about, and then educate our children, make sure they know that look, it's not something that we do or we celebrate, and take it from there. So even if she's 5-year-old, we should not just brush under the carpet, but a 5-year-old definitely needs to be told, because that's the age.
It's a jeep, is it? 5 years old.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I guess you can't really drill it into them, but in a very polite way, gentle way, like you would say about Christmas and things like that. That look, this is not our religion, okay, whatever, and we don't celebrate it. Yeah. But I think we have to. I think you've got to probably say in a very diplomatic way, in a very good way, because you don't want a kid going back to school and say, "My mom and dad said that we're not allowed to celebrate Valentine's," and sometimes it could become a big issue. Yes. In school as well. So I think how you deal with it is going to be very, very important. I think very nicely, but don't over stress on it. I mean, over time, inshallah, they will come around. But I think you do need to tell them in a very, very polite way and in a very good way, so that they do understand. And going back to the first call that the brother said, it's huge in the Middle East. It's huge in Pakistan, India. It's in the Asian subcontinent. The media obviously plays a huge part. Okay, IQRA TV can play its part in trying to maybe tell people like we are today, trying to bring awareness to people, because it's become so common that people might think, well, you know what, it's just fine. It's just all you're saying to your beloved one is, "I love you so much and I'm giving you a rose," but they don't understand. I think what we need to look at is the ta'aleem and the education. It all comes down to one thing: how much do we know about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And the problem we have is that we're educated about literally everything apart from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You talk about film stars, you talk about pop stars, you talk about footballers, who they're married to, how many kids they got, who they were married to, who they're going to marry, who they broke off with, name of the kids, what they drive, where they live, what they like, what they eat, what they drink. We seem to know everything about them, but the only person we don't know about is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, when we don't know the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we're not going to know what is right and what is wrong, what is halal and what is haram. And that's why if you look at the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he used to live with Ummahatul Mu'mineen, with the Azwaj Mutahharat, the love he used to give them, not one day of the year, but Maulana Rayan mentioned his first thing he said is, when you walk into the house, you smile. How many of us actually smile when we walk in the house? I mean, how many husbands walk in the house and actually smile at their wife? And Maulana, I always mention this in my nikahs as well. It's a funny thing, and people who are not married, this is a tip for them as well, that when we're married, right, outside the house, every woman we see, it's how are you love and how are you darling and how are you sweetheart. Yeah. Right? When you go in the house, Rasulullah used to smile. First of all, how many of us actually smile when we go home? Right? Yeah. Which is a great sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And then how many of us actually use good names for their wives? We'll continue on this inshallah. But my point is that how many of us actually know about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? If we knew about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then we would never celebrate Valentine's. We got a call online. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Yes, you're through to IQRA, Generation Y.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sabah. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Bedford.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, how would you, like, if I wanted to advise someone on Valentine's Day, a Muslim sister, like what she's doing is not right, how do you think would be the best way to advise her or that person?
Okay. The best way to advise anybody who you know is doing a guna or a sin or is always with wisdom, politely, gently and kindly. Because example, sorry, if you were celebrating and I came up to you and I said to you, you silly little girl, you should be ashamed of yourself, you're doing a big guna and Allah's going to throw you into Jahannam, you're just going to laugh at me. Or you're going to make sure you do it. Now, the way you need to do is you take them onto the side, you put your arm around them and you tell them with love and muhabbat that, sister, what you're doing, brother, what you're doing is wrong, it's not right, you're not supposed to do this, it's not the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it'll make Allah Ta'ala angry, it'll make Allah Ta'ala upset, in a loving way. Now, it might be, two things will happen. They'll either say, yes, inshallah I won't do it, and thank you very much for your advice, or they'll say, you know what, who are you to tell me? Don't tell me what to do, it's my life, I can live my life the way I want to, I don't need your help and I don't need your advice. Now, hidayat and guidance is not in our hands, sister. You got to remember this. Our job is to tell people and make dua for them. Ya Allah, guide these people. If they don't come onto the right path, then don't feel these people are horrible as well. Give them time and keep on making dua for these people. This is, Maulana, my take. How would you deal with the situation, Maulana? If somebody you knew was celebrating or doing any guna, but in this case, Valentine's, how would you stop them?
Well, I think, like I said, it's all boils down to what we know. It's all about knowledge, end of the day. You know, what we know about Valentine's. See, Valentine's Day, it's not just a holiday. It's not just a name of a holiday. Valentine, a Saint Valentine, he was a man who the Christians regarded as a saint. And he started this off. And the fact that, you know, obviously, every religion has its a belief. Now, for us, you know, there's the element of shirk. You know, Christianity, clearly there's an element of shirk. So what we are doing, we're indulging in shirk in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
And secondly, what we are doing, it leads to what? Fornication.
Of course.
You know, because in those days, to celebrate the month of February, what they used to do is write names of girls in jars, and the men would pick up a slip, and the name that came up, they would spend time with that particular girl duration of the celebration. And you can imagine what that can lead to. Whether they marry or not is another issue. So, you know, end of the day, what's important is to know where the reality of Valentine's, where it started from, and I think that should be drummed into the heads of our children.
Absolutely. Jazakallah. We've got a call online. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'm 17, and I just want to say that I think most people think it's the way to find out if they're attractive or not.
Sorry, it's the way, sorry?
I think most people, like students in my college and that, like, they think it's the way to find out if they're attractive or not.
To find out if they're attractive or not. So would you say there's pressure on them if they don't really sort of go with what everybody else is doing?
I think they feel kind of left out or they're losing out. But I never felt that before, but I think some friends might feel like that.
Yeah, and is that because most of your mates are doing it, that's why?
And I think really we've got leaflets about Islam, but we should have leaflets about where did Valentine's come from.
Sure.
Because it just, like, it scares me that I could be doing shirk.
Yeah. No, you got a good point. Maybe if in our masajids, maybe closer to the time where we gave out actually leaflets on Valentine to let people know, and especially given to the youth in our madrasas as well, to where they have a special assembly, and also in a masajid, the Imam was giving the khutbahs on this particular topic. So I think it creates more awareness about the harms of Valentine's and how dangerous it is. And inshallah, jazakallah khair. I mean, as an imam myself, I'm going to take this point up, inshallah. And maybe, because have you seen any leaflet, have you seen any literature on Valentine's? On specific, okay, we've got it on fornication and we've got it on adultery, everything. But on this specific point, just like two-sided, three-sided.
I can pass maybe something over, which has been authorized by Mufti Desai, and on a Valentine specifically, where it kind of clearly states why it's very, very educational, and if someone reads that piece of document, I'm sure they will get a lot from it.
South Africa. Yeah, he's a top
notch.
Yeah,
top
brilliant.
notch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was with him last year, Easter time.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
I can imagine.
Right, we're going to take a break in around, say, 40 odd seconds, inshallah ta'ala. But jazakallah khair, we started off a wee bit slow, but alhamdulillah, we've had quite a few calls since then, alhamdulillah. Our main theme today is Valentine's. Should we celebrate it? If so, why? If not, why as well, inshallah ta'ala. You know anybody who's celebrating it and you want to stop them, give us a call, inshallah ta'ala. If you're celebrating yourself and you feel you need to celebrate it, give us a call, inshallah. Then maybe we can help you and guide you and maybe stop you. In today's show, if we can even stop one person, we can say Generation Y has been a fantastic show and it's been worthwhile. Anyway, we'll be back after the break. Take care, don't go anywhere. See you all very soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.